I wanna feel it. I need your love.
Well, the name Rabbit Hole came to be when we started talking about this, and I was dragging you to different distilleries. And if you remember, on occasion you would reference how I'm going to be taking the family down the rabbit hole with this idea. And I think we were driving to Woodford for God knows how many, I think it was the 6th or 7th time. And you mentioned it again. And that was it. Because for me, you were expressing your concern about how I'm taking the family down the rabbit hole, and I'm thinking, what a great name. It just captures it all. It's been a trip. I think that when I look back, the beginnings of it was when I was a kid, probably in my 20s. I was fascinated by turning a simple grain or grape into something magical, and that was the beginning of fantasizing about getting in the industry. Psychology for me was a 22, 23-year-old detour. In a lot of ways was out of necessity, a lot of life circumstances that got me started on that track. But my first love was always wine and spirits.
What's been your inspiration or muse?
There's a lot of different folks that I can look to. I think for me, you as my wife have been probably one of the most important relationships that I've had. As you know, I didn't get married till I was 39. So it took me a while, I feel, that to get to a point where I felt anchored and ready to settle down and be able to start a family. Being able to find the right person and be able to find a home, both emotionally and otherwise, was really the way that I started being able to dream and fantasize about things that I had dreamt and fantasized about earlier in life, but never really had the guts or the gumption to go after it.
You said that this has been a long time coming, that this is something that you've always wanted to do, to start a business like this. Obviously, it hasn't always been about bourbon. What were the fantasies, the dreams?
For me, all of them are really about how do I make the most out of the time that I have here on this planet. And more importantly, how am I going to be remembered for the things that I'm doing? So that's really one of the driving features of it. Building a distillery and making whiskey is probably one of the most magical experiences in my mind, because if you think about it, you lay down a barrel of whiskey and you don't get to taste it for at least 4 years, if not longer. And most of the barrels that I'm laying down right now, I will never get to taste. I'm making right now probably about 70, 75 barrels of bourbon a day. And most of those barrels are going to be around long after I'm gone. So the idea of my children, my friends, or other people that I don't know, being able to taste what I've made or had a part in making is really a pretty exciting and at the same time surreal thought, which is part of what drives me.
There's no going back.